All right, we're live.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, welcome the last regular episode of the year.
yay.
Oh God, it is. Oh no.
Yeah.
I have not even started prep for Goaty.
Well, you got 1 week.
Great.
And speaking of which, yeah. So everyone, game of the year episode is next week. So get excited for that. If you haven't submitted your responses to the survey, tough luck.
Yeah, it's too
we
late
don't
now.
care anymore.
It's true. I mean, it's kind of true.
Throw your responses right in the trash. Honestly, like if you didn't submit your response, you pretty much didn't play those games this year.
You probably weren't going to. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think.
Well, I mean, even if you like did play them, it doesn't count anymore because you didn't put it in the survey.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's on you. That's not on us. We gave you plenty of warning.
Yeah.
This is also a warning that Nathan will be on the Game of the Year episode.
Yes, warning.
So hopefully that gets some people excited. Hopefully that doesn't turn any people away from next week's episode.
Wow.
I said hopefully it doesn't. I don't want that to be the case.
As if it would. I don't know. Either way,
No.
I'm excited for that, so I couldn't care less. If the other people
I'm
are.
also excited to invite Nathan back and hear about what he's been playing.
Oh, it's gonna be so interesting because I think he's been playing some weird shit. So
I know he's been playing a lot of basketball.
Yes, he has. That's true.
So it'll definitely be a different episode, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the chat, I'm excited that Nathan has played 10 games from this year. Absolutely.
Well, from the preliminary talks I had with him, might not be a full 10, but I don't know. We'll see. He had some questions that made me suspect about what he's going to put there. So I'm excited.
Such as, what's a video game?
Such as, does it all have to be from this year? And I told him, technically no, because you haven't been on one for like a decade, so put whatever you want on there. I don't care.
Well, we have categories that should
yes.
like solve that for him. He should be able to find a place to put a game.
Oh, he definitely has places to put games.
Yeah, no, Nathan will be joining us, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, agreed.
I think my list is pretty much done. I might do a little bit of reordering, but I think mine's pretty set. How far into it are you, Paul?
The ones that I thought that has to probably on my list added up to 8. So I actually have a different problem this year of finding what my last 2 will be, because usually I have too many and I have to pare it down. Now I have to kind of be like, okay, what was good enough that it probably belongs on my list? So it's a different problem.
You couldn't think of 10 good games.
I couldn't think of 10 that I was just like, oh, that was amazing. I thought it was kind of a slow year.
I'm the opposite. I had like a huge list of like 25 games, and I kind of knew what like the top 5 would be, but the other ones it's like, oh, this is going to be difficult figuring out what goes in these 5. John, have you put any thought into yours at all yet?
Nope, I'm only making the file right this second.
All right. Well, I'm glad we could get you a bit of a kickstart there.
Don't worry, nothing came out this year, so it's all good. Nothing at all.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it.
I have yet to open up like the Wikipedia about what came out and do like the thorough comb through. So for all I know, maybe I might have to change things quite a bit.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't want to do another scenario last year where I completely forget that I played through all of Tales of Arise and then kick myself.
And then be like, oh wait, that might actually be like my game of the year now that I think about it.
Well, it wouldn't have been that, but I probably would have at least put it like at number 10 or something. I don't remember what my goal list was.
Sure.
In addition to that, Sonic Frontiers, the TDP Plus episode, we are going to be recording that on January 1st that evening, so a couple of days after the Game of the Year episode. The Game of the Year episode will be on our usual Thursday. That'll take over the usual episode next week.
Right.
And the poll for what we will be playing through and discussing for January is currently live. So if you haven't voted yet, go over there and vote for the next TDP Plus game.
Yeah.
But with all that out of the way, why don't we do the podcast proper? Because this is the Top Down Perspective, and it's December 22nd. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
You guys having a good holiday Christmas times over on your side?
In work mode still.
I saw that Calgary with the wind chill hit -47 on
Yep.
Wednesday.
And it sucked.
That's
Let's never talk about outside again. It does not exist.
that's
It's
crazy.
dead to me.
That's the coldest. I've never felt that. I thought it was pretty cold last year when I went to Jasper, but I'm pretty sure this was even colder. That is ungodly number.
Yeah. Good old winter.
Yep. All right. Colin, let's start with you. Tell us about what is this? Picross?
Yeah, so a new Picross game came out from Jupiter. Picross X Picbits versus Uzboross.
Right.
Is the X like this is the 10th one or
No, it's like a weird spin-off. So I assume it's all the X is Picross is what they're going for because it's like a spin-off. It's Speed Picross done by the guys who do the normal Picross S games.
is Picross that's not Jupiter?
Yeah, that's Jupiter.
Oh, okay.
So Picross X, you have a bunch of 5x5 puzzles, and you just have to solve them as fast as you can. Because you have a group of little mini characters called the Picbits that you're trying to save from the Uzboross, which is a giant snake that's trying to eat them. So you save them by having them solving puzzles fast, which makes them move faster to run away from the snake. So you just keep doing like all these speed puzzles on a certain timer, and then at the end, if you did it fast enough, you get a damage multiplier, and that deals however much damage to the snake. And if it's enough, you kill it, and then you clear the stage. But there's a bunch of like different challenge modes in there as well. Like, okay, now you can't put down any X's for your puzzles. Now the board is completely filled in, and you need to erase the ones that aren't supposed to be there. Now the board's a different shape. Now the board's just harder. Now the numbers don't light up. Like a bunch of like weird little rule sets that they give you.
Is it kind of like 10 million or we must build a boat where you're doing a puzzle and there's a character running across the top?
It looks like that kind of HUD, but like it's not like how 10 million is with like you persistent like progress and stuff like that. It's literally just like challenge. This is your rule set this time. Go do it. It's interesting. It has online multiplayer for up to 8 players. So up to 8 players can try to speed run their pick bits against a giant Uzboross and see who wins. Like there's all these like random runs you can do and you're scored on them. But like there's no real puzzle per se, like no like persistent puzzles you need to do. It's just solve these 5x5 puzzles as fast as you can. There's like they're not even shapes unless that's like one of the rule sets. Like it's just like nonsense half the time. So it doesn't have like the substantialness that I prefer out of the Picross games. It just feels like a fun distraction, but like I'm also already feel like I'm done with it.
Sure.
Wow. What's the price of this one in comparison to the typical release?
You know, I actually don't remember. So give me a second.
You just bought it sight unseen. You were just like, Picross, yep, here's my money.
Well, someone told me a new Picross game came out, and I'd heard about it from Jupiter.
$20,
so I was just,
apparently.
It's $20. Yikes!
How much does a Picross S8 or whatever cost?
15, I thought.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while since I bought one.
They're all on sale right now. There's a Picross sale. At least there was a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. It's not going to tell me because I already own the game. Yeah, it's not going to tell me how much it was because I own the game. So I'll trust Paul on the $20.
Okay. Paul, where are you at with all the Picross? It seems like you've fallen off.
No, this is just the time of year that I need to play literally everything else, and it's driving me crazy. To the point where I kind of stopped playing everything else, and you're just going to let things lie where they are now.
Okay, all right. What's the Picross season then? Like March?
Every other month.
Every other month.
Yeah, just in between.
It feels like every 3 months or 2 months they're putting out a new one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you just keep repeating the puzzles, you can do it as often as you want.
True.
None of these players are the wiser. I'm seeing in the chat Picross S8 was 10 American.
Okay.
I'm assuming maybe Picross X was 15 maybe American. So more expensive, but not as fun. What John's saying.
Yeah, I just wasn't super into it. It is on sale currently, but Nintendo is refusing to show me the actual price because it. Oh, there we go. 26.99 Canadian normally, on sale for 19.99.
Yeah, it's 19.99 normally US, $15 on sale currently.
Apparently, like all the Picross games that Jupiter put out are on sale right now.
I guess the season of Picross right now.
Yeah.
Until the 3rd of January. So,
right.
Cool.
SA right there. I think I only bought S1 and didn't finish it.
I mean, that's fine.
That's fair.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
right.
pretty much all I've been playing because I've been playing Sonic Frontiers.
Sure.
Hey, Paul?
I wrapped up Ragnarok.
Congrats.
I made that my thing last weekend, and I just pushed until it was done. That ending fell a little flat for me. Not in story necessarily. Well, a little bit in story, but the boss fights, just I don't know, man. When you do God of War 3 and that fight with Zeus, that was a pretty big high that I don't know that they've ever captured again. So I don't know. Maybe I just set myself up for disappointment because that fight was so cool and every other fight has been a little limp in comparison. But that game's fine. There's so much to do in that game. It is insane. There's like the after game stuff as well that you can do that isn't just the collectibles. There's more stuff that they give you because of course there is, which I'll probably go back and do at some point, but for now it's done.
They're doing a God of War show, right? Isn't like Prime doing it?
Yep.
Do you think they do any of the Olympus stuff, or do you think they skip straight to Norse having Atreus with you?
They probably just skip to this, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's the smarter with like some flashbacks of his past.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's what they would do.
I
can see them wanting to tell the story with his previous family. That's like his broken past, why he's so depressed and whatnot and angry.
Yeah.
But I just can't see them setting a whole show there.
Yeah. It would be hard because those games are very much all about getting revenge for the thing and anger. Whereas the new God of War stuff actually kind of has like a bunch of like story stuff going on narratively.
There's depth to his character.
There's more depth to his character. Yeah.
Yeah. Super flat.
Yeah. So that's done. I think 50 hours is what I had in it. Maybe a little less.
There's
45.
no way I'm finishing it before Game of the Year. I've just accepted that.
Yeah, fair. And then I moved on to Citizen Sleeper to just, get into...
I'm hoping you're liking it.
So the thing is that I was like, you know what? God of War Ragnarok winning Best Narrative feels like kind of a sin. So I'm going to go to a game that I've been told has really great story. And like, there's a few. This was one of them. I went to it. I'm like, yeah, this story is absolutely phenomenal so far. It took a while to get into it, I will say, like about an hour of like tutorial and kind of build up of stuff. But like the first time you meet a hunter when you're like hacking the mainframe or whatever the fuck you're doing, that's pretty dope. Finding out the deal with like some random characters you're meeting, even just like the chef there, like listening to your story, like,
and he's like, do you want to hear a story? And it's like, absolutely, I want to hear a story.
Citizen Sleeper is absolutely fantastic so far. It's one of the best games of this year, easily.
It's cool. It's like the whole, it's such like a vibes game. Like you just want to hang out. The music is like perfect for it. I like the character art. And there is just something fun about like, I'm going to scroll over here and I'm going to put a dice into this thing. And then I'm going to just read for a bit and I'm going to put the dice over here, yada, yada.
And there's enough choice of things that you can do that even if you have shitty dice, you're like, oh, I needed a one to like hack this dude or whatever. So like, you never feel like you got screwed in a way that
eventually
you'll
break the economy though. And you'll become like, quote unquote, powerful enough.
Hell yeah.
Like one of my abilities is everything I put in gets +2.
Sure.
So now it just means like 4 to 6 is now just a 6 for me. Like half
Yeah.
the rolls are just perfects for me. So I will say the first like hour or two, you are like scraping by,
It's
especially
slow.
like with your well, I mean with your like health, like
Yeah.
you're constantly getting damaged. The second half of that game, you have so many credits, it doesn't even matter. You can do whatever you want.
Sure. I don't know like really how I could tell where I am at currently. I will say that the bounty hunter dude like found me and we made the deal where he's gonna just chill for a while if I pay for his drinks. That's about where I am, roughly.
Yeah, it is hard because it's not exactly a linear story. It's whichever one you choose to follow.
Oh, I have like 10 objectives I can do right now, and I don't know which one I'm working towards.
I would say just like if there is the ones that you can set those aside. If there's ones that have like a timer, get those done so you don't get the penalties. But I would typically focus on one at a time. Yeah. And then sometimes it'll be like, hey, you need to come back in 3 cycles. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to spend the next 3 days working on this other one. So I usually had like 2, maybe 3 juggling, but I tried to really focus on one, get it like fully done.
Yeah. Right now I'm just in the scrapyard because there's a timer on the dude. I don't even remember why. He's like sick of me being around or something. So I need to work off a bunch of debt for him. Some of those people are just
space racists. They just do not like robots and stuff. And
yeah,
like your character is cool. There's a lot of really cool things.
Oh, I met the machine that talks to you with like words of its servo or whatever. Like, oh my god, that was so cool. It's like a fabricator machine or whatever. And the way they describe it saying words to you is by like whirring up and down its 3D printer servos in different like patterns to make speech or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, this is so good.
There's shootouts that you'll like read your way through that are interesting. There's some really cool characters. Have you met the dad and his little girl?
Yeah, Tem or Lem and Mina or whatever. Lem and Mina, I think. Yeah.
Definitely finish that. That has one of the like best endings. Well, it depends what you do with them.
Yeah, I'm a little worried.
There are some endings that if you make a certain choice, I don't know if we can be friends anymore because that's fucked up.
I mean, I'm a little bit worried because they're definitely posturing in that like, oh, you're going to fall in love with this little girl so we can do terrible shit to her or something. And I'm not.
I don't know. Anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, glad you're liking it.
For anybody listening, it is all text-based. I don't want people to get like the wrong idea or something. It is a lot of reading. But
it's a visual novel.
It's been really good though. I like it.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah. That's how I'm playing it too. Are you going to go did you go back and do the DLC?
I've done both there's 2 of them out. They're coming out with a 3rd one. My recommendation is wait for all 3 to come out because they're kind of the same story.
Okay.
Or are they connecting? And so when I went and did the second chunk, I had kind of forgotten what had happened in the first chunk and connective tissues. So in your scenario, I would wait for all 3 of the DLC chunks to.
Do you know if I'll know when those happen? Like, is there an end to the main game and then it's like, okay, and now this other thing unlocked?
There isn't really, because every time you finish one of the stories, you're going to get credits.
Oh, right. Okay.
And every time it happens, they just put you back out into the ship, and you can just continue on with the other stuff.
Right. Okay.
So what might be best? I can't remember. You're gonna have to look it up just to see kind of what the name of it is.
Okay.
I don't remember if they said something like it's only accessible once you finish blah 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 or not.
Okay.
Because I was in a scenario where I had finished everything, so it just was accessible to me. So if I were you, I would just do a bit of research to see how it gets unlocked, and then avoid it.
Okay, fair enough. That's all I've really been doing though, playing.
Right on. I haven't really been playing anything worth talking about that I haven't already talked about. God of War, it's High on Life, and it's Sonic Frontiers.
Cool.
So more on those games next week. I'm sure. Let's do some news. There's not a whole lot going on, but Nintendo is doing this like 5 days of holiday streams where they're just announcing like indie stuff. Okay. I haven't seen a lot of big news except on the second day they announced Risk of Rain returns. And this is the first Risk of Rain kind of like remastered. with more stuff in it coming next year.
Look at
they
those
say
lines.
Things like it's going to fix the multiplayer, which
that would be
that
really
alone
good.
would be extremely good.
Yep.
There's already footage out. You can wish list it. So new items. The stages apparently are bigger. In terms of the gameplay, though, like they went back and it's the side-scrolling Risk of Rain.
Okay.
They all new characters.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. This was my more favorite one. So
Risk of Rain is awesome. I think Risk of Rain 2 is also awesome. But I am happy to play another version. I'm kind of surprised they went back.
Yeah, it's weird.
But sure.
This looks really good because it was pixel art before.
Is it not pixel art now?
Well, it's like higher definition pixel art or something.
Yeah, wasn't 2 like a weird like pseudo 3D?
Yeah, 2's polygonal.
Is fully polygonal, yeah. But this remaster, I think you're right. Like I think it's just more detailed pixel art, but it is still pixel art.
It looks really crisp. I like it. This is great news. Yeah, more of this. More news like this. I like this.
Okay, well, so I'm gonna bum you out with the next news.
Okay.
Epic Games is getting sued by the FTC for over $500 million.
For invading kids' privacy. Oh no, I don't know anything about this.
There's two things going on.
This thing's complicated from what I remember.
$520 million is 2 settlements. The first one is a violation of the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule. This is basically what they did. Fortnite players who are under age 13 and in-game settings that turn on voice chat and text chat by default, which is I guess not allowed for children to enter into. That's the first thing they're getting sued for, $275 million. The second one, which is a little more interesting, is based on in-game purchases. So the quote here, which is actually kind of interesting, is second settlement is for using, quote, dark patterns to trick players into making unwanted purchases. And what they mean by dark patterns is stuff like making it easier to accidentally buy a skin when previewing it and harder to refund it.
Oh, that's
so. This is things like the UI, the UX, how you can just tap a button to purchase. They have a list. Stuff like how it'll automatically save your payment data, single button presses as opposed to things like holding down the button to make the purchase go through. So you have more time to think. Am I doing something, or is the kid just mashing on the controller and doesn't know what's going on?
Right.
There's also an issue where a lot of accounts, and this is on Sony and stuff as well. If you asked for a refund, it would sometimes trigger a system where they think it might be a bot trying to scam the item. So they would actually disable the account, which from a user perspective makes you afraid to ask for a refund because your account might just get banned from a surface level filter.
Sure. Wow.
Lack of self-service refunds and no spending limits for players under 13. What makes this more interesting is, so this is Epic has to pay these. Like it's been approved. Like the suing is going forward. Epic came out with a blog post.
Oh no.
To like address this.
Yeah.
Specifically the second settlement. And they basically spun it in the most PR way of making it seem like they didn't really do anything wrong and they think the rest of the industry should do all these great things. Even though the rest of the industry is only doing these things because Fortnite did it first.
Right.
Exactly. So here's a quote. The old status quo, this is from Epic's blog post. The old status quo for in-game commerce and privacy has changed, and many developers' practices should be reconsidered. We share the underlying principles of fairness, transparency, and privacy that the FTC enforces. And the practices referenced in the FTC's complaints are not how Fortnite operates. But it's only not how Fortnite operates because they got sued and they can't do that anymore.
Right.
So they're basically, they make this like call to action. Other developers should stop doing these kind of shady business, even though they did it first, and everyone's just copying Fortnite's success. So they don't mention that in the blog post. So it's a pretty ridiculous blog post if you want to give that a read. That's over just on Epic Games' website. This is good in retaliation of this, or along with this, they actually have started up a kind of children's account for Fortnite now. You can make a specific child account that will stop a lot of these things, which probably should have been there in the first place.
It should just be there for like every game that a kid will touch. Yeah.
These accounts, they are something I know, like Xbox has them. I think PlayStation has them. They're typically a more platform based, and then the game companies just kind of have to like adapt what the platform is like titling this account. But you know, when you get to games that are on every platform or are so easily accessible, it kind of comes down to the developer on that case has to do it themselves, because who knows where the person's accessing it from. You know, the kid might have a kid account on Xbox, but then they just load up their phone where it's free reign.
Sure.
Maybe they make the purchases there. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, $500 million. Maybe if you're out there and you have a kid, you're going to get some money back. Or you are a kid, maybe you're going to get some money back. Who knows?
Man.
And last but not least, the Pokemon anime is retiring Ash and Pikachu.
That makes sense.
It's only been, what, 25 years?
It's been 25 years. Now, they're getting killed off.
No, he won.
I don't think they're getting killed off.
It's quite the opposite. He finally won,
they're getting
so
fainted.
he's not interesting.
They're fainting.
Yeah, they're fainting.
But no one's bringing them back. No one's bringing them to the Poke Center.
Thank God.
They're just letting him rest. He's so tired. Please. Going to be all new protagonists starting in the Scarlet and Violet region. Pikachu and Ash will not be. They're saying as the main characters, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pop up from time to time.
Yeah. Doing some wacky hijinks.
And there's going to be a collection of like epilogue episodes. I think there's going to be 11 of them, kind of concluding Ash's journey. I might check those out just to kind of see like what they do with Ash. What I think would be cool is if in this epilogue they aged him up to what the age he would actually be. And it was kind of implied like, oh, the whole time, yes, he was aging, but we just showed him as a kid because we had to. But I feel like that would be a cool nod to any fans that like were watching this from the beginning.
Yeah.
They're probably like close to what Ash should actually be in. He's not 10. He's not still 10 years old. I think that would be pretty cool. I do also think it would be cool if he just died. That would be
Jesus.
Not gonna do that.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking like he sits down in his chair with Pikachu and they literally turn to dust.
I mean,
we're free now, Pikachu.
It would be cool, but
just disappeared off into the wind, like the end of Klaus or something. Anyway, who knows what it's going to be, but I'm just surprised they did it. They're doing this at all. Like,
yeah,
it's been 25 years. Like, why do it? Like, why not just keep going and trap this boy in a 10-year-old's body for all eternity?
Yeah. I don't know. Weird.
I'm curious. I'm gonna check out this epilogue. I have to know. All right, that's gonna do it for news. Not a lot of news happening. Makes sense. It's pretty much the holidays. Let's do some questions. updownperspective@gmail.com is the email address. At TDP Podcast on Twitter. The Discord channel, John's P.O. Box. Sound like Chris, who writes, "Hi TDP. Thanks for another great year of entertainment. Here's another question. While taste and preference for music is subjective, people will still compare songs and tracks between games to see which is better. What do you think is more important when comparing soundtracks between games? The quality of a song in conjunction with the original situation it is seen in a game, or how good a song is void of the original context from the game it came from?"
Usually, if you're comparing soundtracks, you're comparing it on just the quality of the song itself.
Yeah, like would you listen to this outside the game?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I would say void, but I get what they mean by like the song in context usually means a lot more, or usually has a lot more meaning, like say ambient music always is better in context than outside as a void.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of genres that it's like, this isn't my typical genre. I'm not going to listen to this, when I'm walking down the street. But that moment in the game was absolutely crucial that it had that song playing there.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if one's better than the other. They are both important.
Yeah. Cuz like I'm trying to think now of the main battle music from like Persona 4 and 5. I like both of them for different reasons, and I think they both fit their game, so I don't even know how to compare them. I guess I like 4 more? Maybe? Maybe I just heard more of it? Like, so, I don't know. I think depending on what the songs are, you can compare them in the context of the game they're from too. If it's kind of a similar game, it's like, I think this fits that tone better or whatever. But usually, yeah, it's definitely what would you listen to in the car, and like devoid of any of that stuff.
Because I mean, I don't listen to a lot of game soundtracks just out on the go. When the few that I have in the past, like I think of like Shatter, and like that's a fantastic soundtrack. But in terms of that game, you could just swap out the song and it wouldn't change the gameplay at all. It wouldn't change any quote unquote moment from that game because they're pretty much separate. It's just it's a twist on Arkanoid, and there's a great soundtrack playing.
Sure.
But then I think of like Nier Automata, or no, sorry, I think of like 13 Sentinels. I think of like some of those final battles where like the vocals are coming in, and you're like, this is awesome. Like this is firing on all cylinders. Holy smokes, this is so good. But I don't ever listen to that song outside of.
The one I was thinking of is Super Meat Boy. The Danny B stuff, it like is fantastic. I'll listen to that outside of that game. And it's so good and iconic that when they had to change the music, that new music is like garbage, and that feels worse because of it to me. Like those levels don't feel as good. So it's weird.
In that scenario, though, is it just based because you've listened to the first one? Like, if you hadn't listened to the first soundtrack, would it even matter?
Yeah, I just think that second soundtrack is kind of just not good in general.
It's like, they changed the Spider-Man model. Got a different face now, and it's like, that's not my Spider-Man.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I feel the same way. As my
Spider-Man's concerned, that guy's dead, and the only time I'm ever going to see that Spider-Man again is maybe as like Into the Spider-Verse 3, where he also gets to show up.
Oh, that would be so good.
Sean's got some shit to work out with
Spider-Man. The holidays bring out the weirdest in all of us, I guess.
But what's more impactful for you, John? Outside of games or the moment? Which is the better one?
What's more impactful?
The question is, what is better? A soundtrack that can exist outside of the game, or a soundtrack that is awesome while in the game, moments with it?
I think a soundtrack that can exist on its own is better.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
I don't think I can pick.
Yeah.
I think a soundtrack that exists on its own is better because that means that it's been designed with both the context of the game in mind and listening pleasure in mind. Otherwise, you split it into one group. Like okay, it's only focused in the game, but like outside of it, kind of eh. I would like something that works in both.
I guess that's the goal. Is I would listen to this, but it was also implemented well.
Sure,
that's the goal. Yeah.
Jaron writes, let's say Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton actually did win Game of the Year. What would you do in this hypothetical game? And then he has a correct answer, which is it's just Metal Wolf Chaos 2.
I mean, that is indeed the correct answer.
Yeah.
What a crazy question. All right, Game of the Year goes to Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. I mean, I do think of like a Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah, probably right. Like a Kojima production.
But maybe that's just because of the like
Yeah.
president side of it.
I'm trying to think of like, is he reformed as in he is now an Orthodox rabbi, or was he reformed from being an Orthodox rabbi and he's just regular Bill Clinton now?
Or is it
So like,
reformed
Yeah.
Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton? Like this is a long line of the Reformed series.
It's a different person each time,
Each
and
time.
this is. It's like, oh, which one are you playing? Oh, I'm playing Reformed 3, Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like John's question of like, and I think what might be an interesting avenue is if the player doesn't know until the end of the game, and that's kind of
Yeah.
the overarching question.
So that kind of works
Yeah.
with what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, it's just where you live a double life, and you have to like make sure that one life doesn't know about the other. So like your regular ass Bill Clinton, and then your Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton, and you just got to figure out which reform you want.
And then you kind of realize that there's a little bit of Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton in all of us.
Yeah, true.
What if it was like an acronym? RORB.
Rorb.
Roar BC. Oh my god. All right. Christmas Suku writes in and says, game servers are expensive. No multiplayer can stay up forever. Many have seen the death of their beloved multiplayer games and must move on. But what if you didn't? Gamers are known to be a stubborn bunch. Some MUDs have been running since the 90s. Now, what is the oldest game you personally know is still alive to this day? Well, MUDs were probably going to be my actual answer, but
Yeah.
What is MUDs? Or what are MUDs?
they were like text-based. You connected to like a server and you just like played like text-based adventure games.
They were
I forget what the
text-based
actual-
MMOs. They're multi-user dungeons.
That's what it is. I couldn't remember the actual
Okay.
definition for it.
It's not the oldest game, but I'm part of a fan server for Resident Evil Outbreak, so that like we can play that game on emulator, or if you have the PlayStation 2 version on like a fan server. So that's still running, and that's kind of cool. Emulation does this a bunch. There are like just literally people still playing Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter 2, or whatever, just for the last like 30 years.
Yeah, I can think of it's like Doom 2 and like any fighting game.
Yep.
Does the Master Chief Collection reintroducing like online servers to the old Halos count?
I mean, I guess.
Can you play Halo 2 is the first one that was online, right?
Yes.
You play Halo 2 multiplayer in the Master Chief Collection?
Yes.
That might be the oldest one I could have thought of, if it counted.
I think it's like anniversary multiplayer, so like it's like different.
Also,
Remakes
it's new
multiplayer?
servers.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Maybe it doesn't count then. So would Halo 3 be the oldest Halo multiplayer you could play then? They didn't make a remake of that one?
Yeah,
still
I mean,
up?
technically Halo 1 PC still has ways you can play it online.
I'm hearing you can do classic and anniversary as separate mode.
Oh, interesting.
Never mind then. So yeah, then it would
That's
count.
probably the way to do it. So
Yeah, then it would
Yeah.
count.
Rasterman writes, what's a game franchise you haven't introduced yourself into? Not because you didn't want to, but rather you've been waiting for the right time to do so.
Mass Effect.
Sure.
Danganronpa.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Danganronpa is a good...
It's pretty much just
Probably.
like I have other visual novels I need to get to, and then of course I'm going to get to that. So
Yeah.
it's like instead of people having like a pile of books on their like nightstand, I have a pile of visual novels on my nightstand.
Right.
That's where I play a lot of visual novels, is in bed.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good answer. It's probably for me too, honestly. I've kind of introduced myself to most other ones, I think.
Remember, did you play 999?
Yeah, it
Did you
did.
play Ghost Trick?
Yes. I didn't finish it though. I should go back
Oh,
and finish
man.
it.
That's a Christmas game. That is
Oh, there
literally
you
it
go.
takes place on Christmas. Like,
Yeah,
no, there's
maybe I
never
should
been a
play it.
better time to play Ghost Trick.
It is Christmas. It's true.
It's
I
Christmas.
don't even. It's been so long. I don't even remember that being the case.
That sounds like another great time to play Ghost Trick.
I have so many other things to play, Sean. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Man, there has to be another game series.
Barely scratched the surface on Yakuza, but I have technically started it, so I don't know if that fully counts.
Right. Like I was thinking Yakuza, but I'm the same. Kingdom Hearts, I played the first one, so that doesn't count at all, even though I haven't played like the other 20. Yeah, I'll stick with your answer because I'm the same with it. Dad writes, what is the single worst video game you have ever played and why? The single
hard
worst.
question. I mean, it's probably something crappy online, right? Like shitty advert game. I don't know, Yaris for the 360.
Yeah.
Play
Yaris
that.
car advert game. Maybe. I don't know, but that one like functionally played, so it's probably not even the worst one. I've played Big Rigs. Like, is that the worst? Is that the worst video game?
I mean, Big Rigs is up there. Stuff's all relative at this point, anyways. Here's the problem. I played so much garbage, I don't even think I can answer this question. My immediate mind was like, okay, the first game I remember absolutely disliking to a point where I returned the rental was Aiden Chronicles: The First Mage.
Right.
For the N64. I don't know if it's actually like an actually bad game, but I just had an awful experience with it and I was just done with it.
Fair enough.
But from what I've seen, most people also don't think it's that good, so.
Man, Night Trap is a giant piece of shit. That's a
Night
bad
Trap
game.
is pretty bad because to play the game, you have to not look at the interesting shit.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
I played through all of the what's the other, like, not FMV, but
The Quiet Man.
Quiet Man does suck, but I did play through it twice. I
Right.
needed to know the audio version. I still can't believe there's an audio version of that game.
Remember, that wasn't even in at launch. That was DLC. That was patched in. I think from complaints, if I had to guess. But then they
It would've
changed the
had-
ending, so I guess it had to be intentional.
Changed the ending? I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, the ending between the quiet version and the audio version is slightly different.
It's not the worst. That doesn't even matter.
Phantom Aegis writes in and says, ahoy TDP crew. What are some of your favorite trios? Examples of trios like Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, the Three Stooges, every starter Pokemon, etc.
Okay.
Batman,
Beavis,
Superman,
Butthead,
Wonder
and
Woman.
Do America.
Ed, and Eddie. Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls, great
Yeah,
choice.
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Hey Arnold, Gerald, and Arnold's grandpa.
Oh, I like the Battletoads growing up. They were rad.
Okay, really?
The
Yeah,
Ninja
they were
Turtles
fine.
minus Leonardo.
There you go. I don't think any of them like really stand out as like my favorite. So
Yeah.
gotta be. I'm looking up 18 great pop culture trios.
Oh, okay.
What are the
Jack,
results?
Janet, and Chrissy from Three's Company.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Ron, Harry, and Hermione from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Okay,
don't
that's a
care.
fair choice.
Yeah,
Care
I'm
about
surprised no, we didn't think of that. Buffy Willow and Xander from Buffy.
Ooh.
Luke, Leia, and Han from Star Wars. How did no one say that?
Yeah. Well, because I don't think it was a trio because of Chewie. And I guess the robots.
Chewie, the robots, that guy, the other one. Sutton, Jane, and Kate from the Bold type. I don't. That is really. Oh, they have the Three Stooges here.
Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. That's a good one.
Okay.
Not only is this list a page slideshow that I have to click through, but there are just some blank slides, so they get an extra click.
Oh, here's one. Alvin and the Chipmunks. Obviously
Nah.
the best trio.
Okay.
I mean, actually
Sure.
a trio, but nah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with like OG cartoon.
Green Day. I'm just gonna say Green Day.
Okay.
Okay, Green Day. How about John, Odie, and Garfield?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
How do we feel
Kirk,
about
Spock,
Huey,
and
Dewey,
McCoy.
and Louie?
I like them in the
Fine.
modern cartoon.
Okay, yeah, that's probably fair.
Ben Schwartz? The voice of one of them?
Pretty sure.
I haven't watched any of the. I'm just gonna skip the Three Amigos.
Yeah, okay. It's a good movie.
Charlie's
fair-
Angels.
Three Stooges would have been one of my answers, but like it's already there. So
Oh,
Three
Lizzie
Stooges.
Gordo and Miranda from Lizzie McGuire. How about the Three Ninjas?
Hell yeah.
Have the Powerpuff Girls. Sean, Corey, and Topanga from Boy Meets World. That
There
might
you
be
go.
like
Okay.
my favorite if we're going like nostalgia. The three from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The Sanderson sisters.
Ugh, no thank you.
That's the list.
Okay. Those were a bunch of trios. Are we back to me already? Where are we?
yeah, I think it's
BGC
you.
Kenny
Not me.
writes, if two games in a series are close together in terms of quality, how do you know which one is better of the two?
Which one came first?
Well, what does that mean? Is the first one better?
Okay, so they're the equivalent of quality, so they're the same. So like the answer is who the fuck cares? You've got two great games.
Well, actually,
Yes.
I actually liked your idea with which one came first, because if the second one is just the same as the first one, it's going to be less interesting.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my logic. Like it came first, so it kind of established it. So by that sense, if they're of equal quality, the first one is better because it came first.
But I do also like your optimistic idea of like, hey, I got two great games here.
Yep.
I'm all smiles. I was gonna say like it would probably then go down to like the story and characters of like which one did I prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, it's absolutely subjective.
Yeah.
But I could
the
also
general
see the
con- yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
That's important.
And is this Sean? Or was that?
I think it's you.
No, because I did Aegis.
Okay.
I'll do it anyways. TC Golden, what's a game you really love that has had its service shut down? Mario 35.
Oh,
Good answer.
yeah.
I did not have that. Man, you were just sitting on that.
That was his game of the year last year.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like last year or 2 years ago, one of the two.
Yeah, whenever it was.
came out.
Oh, no, it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago because I think it shut down last year.
Had the service
Trying to
shut
think
down.
like it has to be some kind of like online, somewhat multiplayer-ish game then, right?
Yeah.
Team Fortress 2 still going?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Turok for the 360? Does it still have its broken multiplayer going?
Probably.
It's not my answer,
Probably.
but I did play a lot
Probably.
of that. I remember that the online was so broken. There was an achievement for literally finishing an 8-on-8 game. And it was like impossible to do because you couldn't, like, people would not stay in a game that when you got up to like 14 people, you couldn't even move. The frame rate was like 0. So people just would quit and you would not get the achievement unless everyone finished the game.
That's
I tried
so
way too
dumb.
hard to get that achievement. Was this Fuser literally just shut down? That might be my answer, actually. Fuser, yeah.
I actually bought Fuser this weekend and played a little bit of it. Yeah. but I wouldn't say it's a favorite game that shut down. I guess I don't really have one where I felt really bad about it shutting down.
And then I'm also like, it's pretty rare that I'm playing games for that long after they're out.
Sure, yeah.
You know, for Fuser, I think they like discounted almost like all the cosmetic stuff, so you should like redeem those before they're just taken offline because they're like free right now.
Yeah, they're the everything must go bundle where you click it and you just unlock everything or whatever.
It's confirmed in the chat. Mario 35 was John's or Jobs, as they wrote it, second place game of the year for 2020.
Okay.
It was my 20, and it was my 2020 game of the year.
Gotcha. Okay. That game was good. Like, that should not have been shut down, so that's a decent answer.
You could say that about most Nintendo stuff, which now makes me think. Super Mario Maker 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons.
I mean, those are all they're all also running. It's just they're not getting new content.
Right.
So they might as well be dead.
Kinda. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it for questions. Again, if you would like to send in questions next week, we will not read them. But if you want to send in questions 2 weeks from now, popdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's PO Box. What's your game of the week?
Sonic Frontiers.
Nice. Citizen Sleeper.
Mine's probably High on Life.
Gross. All right.
I don't hate that game. Yeah, I don't hate that game. All right. Once again, make sure you guys are here next week because we're gonna do a big old Game of the Year episode.
Woo!
And it's gonna be fun. Always such a fun time to celebrate the games that came throughout the entire year. I'm excited.
Yep.
Oh yes, we will see you guys then.
Yep.